Hi, my name is Ben Westlund, and I would like to take a moment to talk about the late Dr. Arthur Spring. I first met Art Spring as a student in his introduction to geography course during my sophomore year of college at St. John's University in Minnesota, in Collegeville, Minnesota. He was an incredibly magnetizing person. He just had this gravitas about him. And I remember that that first day was basically this like stand up routine combined with a course outline and course expectations. And I just remember being so captivated by everything he said and thinking to myself, wow, if I could hold a classroom's attention the way he does right now, I feel like I would take my teaching game to the next level. Also, immediately from the get go, he got all of his students involved, and he made active participation in his classroom a requisite for success. You couldn't just show up to the lecture, cram and dump and pass the course that way. No, you had to engage in what he was doing. And when I mean engage, it wasn't just like have discussions. No, he would use music and bodily kinesthetic intelligence. He was very much a disciple of Howard Gardner in that way, to teach his lessons. And he did it in a way that we discovered content as opposed to just like absorbing it and being told what it was. So he really got us involved that way. In fact, I remember it very specifically. He had us sing this song about hurricanes to learn about how they work, and it went like this, to the tune of "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." Silo, counterclockwise, spiral inwardly. Silo, counterclockwise, spiral inwardly. And I still remember it to this day, almost 20 years later, which is just amazing. He introduced me to the notion that everything and everyone is interconnected. It's not just, including knowledge, that knowledge isn't just compartmentalized, but rather this idea that everything is connected, and one idea informs the other. And for every action taken in the world, there is a reaction. He was also really hip to futurism and futurists like the Buckminster Fuller, the godfather of the geodesic dome, and also like really metaphysical ideas like the noosphere, the idea that like human consciousness, uh, it exists in its own sphere, like the hydrosphere or the carbon cycle, but just like knowledge and human consciousness, which is really cool. Every class he taught had some kind of social justice element to it. He was a champion of human dignity for all, specifically of the marginalized, those who are at socioeconomic disadvantage, or those with cognitive exceptionalities, and it taught us the idea that we have just as much to learn from people that we believe are in the margins, or who get cast away in society, as they can learn from people of privilege, like like myself. He always wore funny ties, so I'm wearing a tie to honor him, and you can see it's flowers, so spring. And the tie that he would wear every day somehow connected to what he was teaching, which was always great. And I have a specific story that I'm going to end with. I remember when he chaperoned all of his education students on a week-long practical. I went to school in kind of this rural town, so we all drove to the Twin Cities into inner city Minneapolis, and it was right during Thanksgiving. And he was teaching us this book called Team of Rivals by Doris Kearns Goodwin. Here's another thing. He always had this foreseeing of the future. And he taught us about Abraham Lincoln because he could see that the United States was on the precipice of a lot of civil conflict. Maybe not an all-out civil war, but he could tell that American society was on the brink of coming apart. Anyways, he taught us about Abraham Lincoln and how he brought together in his cabinet, he brought together people of different political parties with different philosophies, and he purposefully brought them all to the table to bring the country back together, to try to bring those extremes back together. So super insightful there. But I just remember him speaking to a room full of third, fourth, and fifth graders in inner city Minneapolis. And I was thinking, God, this old guy is going to get cooked by these kids. But the way he had every single kid just wrapped around his finger, the way he told about Abraham Lincoln and the American Civil War and the birth of what we know today as Thanksgiving was just something that I will never forget. And the way he taught, it just inspired me so much. And to this day, every single day that I put on a tie or that I get ready to teach or that I step into a classroom, I remember Art Spring because he just had that that gift of connecting with people and with kids. And so I want to dedicate this scholarship application to him. Dr. Spring, I love you, and I know you're looking down on all of us. All right, thank you. Bye.